Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love Island All-Stars Season 2, Episode 20.
Harriet made a great point, y'all. Harriet made a great point. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Ron's gone.
Well.
So, back to business as normal. We get a text, and it's time for the girls to go to the secret garden for their bombshell chugs.
Man, I feel like there wasn't enough sadness when Ron left, okay?
He does have his eye on a couple girls. He's not ready to quite say yet. They talk about who's open, who's closed. One thing that stuck out to me is Ekin said that she and Curtis are trying to get back basically on a good path, but she didn't quite say they were closed off.
So, y'all, guess what? You gonna keep doing the same thing. Y'all still don't have no title on y'all thing. And while a bombshell about to come in.
Right.
Okay.
Danielle feels a spark with Chugs. Samie is the girl bombshell that comes in.
Nice.
And she is talking about how one Islander did slide into her DMs. So Ronnie immediately tells her that he's in love with Harriet.
Okay. Nice.
Everyone talks about their relationship status, but Luca is most Sammy's type, and he's the one who DM'd her a couple of times.
Whoa, not just one time, Luca? A little thirsty, I see.
Luca said that Samie is his type on paper, but he has something strong with Grace, so he's a little conflicted right now.
I don't understand this whole... Dude, you know what Luca gives me, Blair?
What?
We go together in my head. That's the type of guy he is. Like he's all hot and bothered and all what's the word? Razzled? Is razzled a word?
That's a word.
Okay, razzled.
You got it.
Because of what he thinks Samie to be, because he likes how she looks, and it's like, hey, just relax. You haven't even had a conversation with her yet.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Luca, you see the girl, and automatically he's stressed.
Yes.
But the thing is, I really think he should give it a chance to at least have a, conversation to feel out if he even wants to get to know her. Because somebody can look good, but once you talk to them, they're not really quite it.
They're stupid.
Especially if you have something strong with Grace, then Grace and you should be on a vibe to where somebody else can't come in and really mess up y'all's vibe.
Yeah.
Unless he is what you say he is, a relationship in my head type of person, to where any girl or the first girl he sees that'll fit into that box, he's going to make them fit and tuck them in real tight.
Yeah.
And now he's all frazzled and confused because, oh goodness, she's my type too.
I guess we all live in Luca's world.
I guess. So the guys and the girls reconvene.
Yeah.
The girls tell Samie that, you have to do what you have to do. Try to be open with us, if things progress a little further, but we understand your job is the bombshell.
That is true.
Ron, Casey, and Luca talk. They could tell that Luca seemed a little more quiet when Samie walked in. And Luca said Samie was looking at him. He wasn't looking at her.
Okay.
So Samie comes over and pulls Ronnie for a chat. Casey tells Luca that he is Sammy's type. Because Luca asked him, do you think I'm her type? You know you are, Luca.
Yeah, of course.
And you was up in that girl's DMs.
More than once. A couple of times.
Ronnie tells Samie, I already know Luca's the one that you really want. And he asks her if there's any other guys that she's into. And Samie says Curtis is more handsome in real life. But just because he's cute doesn't mean that you want him, girl. So
that is true. And listen, I have been told that a couple of times that in real life, I am handsome, so I can relate.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Then Luca is feeling panicked. He fancies Samie, but his connection is with Grace.
Mind you, has he talked to Samie yet?
Not at all.
Okay. Okay, true. I hear you, Luca.
Grace and Catherine are having a conversation, and they both pretty much understand that Samie is feeling Luca. And Catherine is telling Grace pretty much like, don't get too worked up. Don't get fazed by this. Grace is happy, and she doesn't want Samie to take what she has away from her.
Now that you see a bombshell, do you believe that Grace... I know we both said that, hey, maybe like she is focused on Luca, and maybe outside the villa it don't work, or like it wouldn't work. But now that a bombshell is here, do you feel like she likes Luca more, or she just like kind of just trying to mark her territory?
I don't even feel like she's trying to mark her territory. What Grace is doing is what I actually like for the girls to do. See how he's moving. Pay attention to how he handles you how he handles the other girl.
Yeah.
Is he really a person of character in the way that he goes about things?
Yeah.
So I think that Grace is doing a good job of just kind of laying back, not being like Elma and crying and hollering at folks and you know, sitting on the daybed all upset and everything like that. Like, Grace is paying attention.
Yeah.
So
just in case y'all did not know, this is the anti-Elma channel over here. Okay, I am not a fan of Elma at all. Okay.
Well, Samie tells Elma that Luca messaged her before back in September, but she was going through a breakup at the time, so she really hadn't responded or even looked at the messages.
Okay, that's fair.
We see Chugs and Danielle getting to know each other. They both know what they want, and they're not interested in forcing things. There was a flirty vibe that Danielle was into.
Here's the thing about Danielle. I ain't gonna hold you. Even though I feel like you're gonna try to force your way with Chugs, I feel like you still like Curtis. I'm sorry, Danielle. Like but my thing is, hey, if you're not gonna be the bombshell that comes in and basically take your man and basically just lie back and let him say no to you and things of that nature, hey, look, it is what it is. I like Samie vibe. I've been told in the comments on the last video that y'all was teaching us that, you know, Samie can be a little more annoying than Elma, depending on her season, the time that she was on during her season. But I like what Samie said. Samie said that, hey, if they say they close off, that don't mean nothing to me. And I'm like, thank you, Bombshell. Like, I like the vibe. So that's why I'm like, with Danielle, I wish she would just man up and actually go after the man she wants. And that's Curtis, not Chugs.
Yeah. I don't know Samie well enough to say. I feel like Samie hasn't spoken enough for me.
Yeah, and that's amazing. She done a lot and haven't really said much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Grace and Luca talk. There was a segment where Samie did talk to Luca. I missed it. I'm sorry, y'all. But Grace and Luca talked. And Luca told her that he was close to being closed off and it would be hard for his head to turn.
Okay.
Grace says that it's pretty obvious she's going after you since she really only pulled you. And Luca said, well, she pulled Ronnie. So Grace calls Ronnie over, and Ronnie was like, pretty much my conversation with her, I knew she was into Luca. That was pretty much the conversation. Grace doesn't want to be involved with someone who would entertain flirtation just for the attention. So she makes that very clear.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's bedtime. Grace is sleeping in her bed. I think Ekin asked if she was going to be staying in the room. She's like, that's my bed. Yes, I'm going to sleep in my bed. So Catherine and Omar are kissing as well as like some other couples, but I'm happy that Catherine is enjoying her time.
Grace and Luca was kissing too.
So it's the next day. Tina and Chugs chat. Honestly, the chat didn't seem that interesting to me. They discussed like her dreams and, you know, what she looks for in a guy. And she enjoyed her chat, but I felt the chemistry more with Danielle and Chugs.
Yeah, Tina, this is gonna seem mean to say, you're going home, right? The votes gonna be in by the end of the night. I just don't see it for you. You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm sure you're a sweet girl. I'm sure you're a nice girl, but nah, this season just not for you, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Casey is asking Luca if he fancies her, basically Samie. Luca knows that Sammy's gunning for him. Omar thinks that he should explore. Then they start comparing it to like football, y'all's type of football, and winning and all that type of stuff. Pretty much saying that if Luca doesn't get to know Samie, there will always be that what if lingering over his head. And Luca is just rubbing his head, his face, his temples. He's stressed. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah. Next, we get to Samie and Omar. He doesn't really have a type, but he's into personality. She asked if his head could be turned, and basically, yeah.
What was your thoughts with Samie and Omar conversation?
It seemed just kind of friendly and just kind of seeing if there was a vibe there. The conversation went well, and I can't really quite place if there might be something there.
Was it respectful?
Was it respectful? I think it was.
I don't think so.
It's respectful enough.
I don't think so.
Because it's not like he's like with Catherine, like closed off. Like,
but he chose Catherine.
Yeah, I hear you.
He chose Catherine. He's kissing Catherine in the bed and things of that nature, right?
Well, they all are.
But my thing is, like, at the same time, my thing is this, Omar, right? If you came in here for Catherine and things of that nature, you chose Catherine. You was the bombshell that made the choice, right? As soon as another bombshell come in, like, you got to at least make it through the first wave of bombshell for, like, you. So for you to make it seem like, oh, yeah, like, I don't really have a type. I'm really for personality. And with one conversation with Samie, which you don't know her personality, you let her know that your head can be turned. That makes no sense to me. Omar, go home.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I'm to the point where I'm like, Catherine, this may not be the season for you either. You know what I mean? Like both of y'all may go home. You know what I mean?
So Chugs and Harriet talk. Harriet makes it clear that she is not closed off and she's not trying to get back with Ronnie immediately.
Okay.
He thinks that he's a thoughtful person. He would be a good boyfriend. And he likes that she is a big character. Grace tells Luca that he doesn't have to put this much pressure on himself if he just handles things the way that he is supposed to. And then he gets up and walks away and starts pacing.
Yeah.
Because he is just not okay.
I don't even know what, like, Luca, like, he's making the block hot.
He really is.
Like, I don't understand. Like, he haven't even done anything. He's doing more by trying not to do anything than actually going over there and talking to it. Truth be told, if he just go over there and talk to her, it would look better than what he's currently doing.
And I think that Grace is starting to get turned off by it because she's kind of having to coach him of how to go about dealing with the bombshell.
Yeah.
Like, if Luca is around her, she should be enjoying her time with him, not consoling him and coaching him. I think it's going to get annoying for her.
Yeah.
So it's nighttime. Casey is talking to Ronnie and Chugs. Talking to Ronnie, and he tells him, Chugs said that Harriet was really open. Ronnie knows that, and he understands that. He's fine with that. As they get closer, though, that's going to have to change. Harriet comes over to figure out what the conversation's about, and Casey says, honestly, when I look at you guys, I don't see you really open. Harriet is leaning towards Ronnie, but she's not closed off, and nobody in the villa is closed off, so she doesn't need to be either. Casey tells Ronnie he's sorry. Harriet is still in the vicinity, and she yells back, because Casey says that he has Ronnie's back. Harriet yells back, I got his back too. We're real friends.
Okay. I hear
you. Harriet goes straight to Grace, tells Grace what happened, but it's not fair to her to have to be closed off or be only with Ronnie just because Casey thinks that she should. Ronnie comes over to Harriet, and he understands where she's at. She's been completely honest with him. Harriet ends up walking away, but Grace says, Harriet, it just wants to be able to remain open just in the chance that there's somebody that might be here for her or someone else.
Yeah.
And Ronnie says that would make him want to walk away. Elma then tells Samie that he has his head, talking about Luca, has his head in the sand, and he is in something strong with Grace.
What is your thoughts on the Harriet thing?
The Harriet thing, I don't know why Harriet was getting so upset. I guess because she didn't like Casey talking about her and what she said, but you said it. So I don't know if maybe it's just Harriet being young, but I'm just like, even when Ekin repeated what she said, she went over there and was trying to say like people misrepresented what she said, but she said exactly what was said. So I don't know. I don't think Harriet needed to get that upset about it. Ronnie knows where you're at. You guys have talked about it. Y'all are good. And there's no reason to be stomping around the villa.
You see, my issue is with Casey, actually, because what is the problem with Harriet being open? Aren't you open, Casey?
Yeah.
Aren't you open, Gabby? You get what I'm saying? It's Ekin and Curtis got in a big argument because he was confused and not being completely honest with Danielle about how open he is. But yet Harriet got to be the one that got to be closed off.
Right.
Yet she's the one with the history with the guy that she's with about how he didn't close nothing off with her. About how there was some type of trust broken on both parties between the two. But yet the issue got to be on the woman, Harriet, to basically be like, you know what? While I am the one that told Ronnie to his face that, hey, I'm not going to rush into this, I have to be the one that say I'm closed off. And then Ronnie's going to try to put the responsibility on Harriet, basically saying, like, look, the more you say that you're open and things like that, that's not going to make me want to, like, stick with you. Like, Ronnie, if you're really in love, which you like to say as soon as a bombshell coming, I'm in love, then why don't you be closed off? You get what I'm saying? Like you make the jump and hope that love catch you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But instead, you want Harriet to jump out with no parachute for you again when she already did that, where you was basically battling between her and Jess last season in Love Island UK. So I don't
Brandon Bombshells.
I don't really understand the whole like Harriet got to state what it is. Like, no, Ronnie, you state what it is. Say I'm closed off, and then let Harriet and hope that Harriet meet you there.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
One other thing that Grace said is that Ronnie should have been having Harriet's back and not letting Casey kind of like talk to or about her in a certain kind of way. And I really don't feel like Casey did anything wrong necessarily. No. I just think that he was trying to relay some information to Ronnie so that way he would be aware of where Harriet stood in case they hadn't had the conversation. But they did, so there really wasn't nothing more to talk about. But there's plenty of people that go around the villa telling each other intel about their situation, and sometimes it is shocking.
But you understand, it is something wrong with that though. Like I agree with Grace, because if that's like my boy coming over to me and say your girl said da 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 da, he's basically trying to see, is it true? Like he's basically making it seem like he's trying to paint the picture that Harriet is really not for you completely.
Okay. But I thought Ronnie did good. He said, I know that.
But the thing about it is, but he may know that, but he's not cool with that.
Okay.
And he's been saying that he's not cool with it. Like, what else do Ronnie supposed to say? Like, he wants the girl, and the girl has to state her terms, but he wants the girl. So even though he knows that, he's not cool with that. Okay. He told her straight up in a couple episodes ago that, hey, if you out here and you get coupled up with somebody or you flirting with somebody, I'm not going to sit around and watch that. I'm not going to like that. So it's like, Casey knew what he was trying to do. Mm-hmm. He was basically trying to check to make sure that, hey, your girl said this, or like just basically, you know, your girl saying this behind your back. But like Harriet said, I'm nobody's girl. I'm not closed off with nobody the same way as you're not closed off with nobody.
Absolutely.
Casey. So leave me be.
Right.
And I agree.
So they play Spin the Bottle, Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
Casey, Catherine goes first, and she talks about her favorite one thing she wants to do sexually, which was BDSM.
Yeah. And
Casey gets a question for the group. Everyone point to the Islander they think has the highest body count. Mm-hmm. They all point to Casey. Casey points to Ronnie.
Yeah.
Gabby found that to be an ick that everyone in the villa figured her guy had the highest body count.
Okay. I mean,
well, he slept with one other person on the cast.
At least we know it's one. Okay.
Yes. Curtis gets what's one thing your partner does that makes you question the relationship? He said her fiery side, and Ekin said he hasn't really even seen it yet. Luca gets Nog the Islander, other than your partner, who is your vibe. Y'all, prior to the game even starting, they were talking about who Luca shouldn't be kissing in the game. Grace said don't kiss Samie, and Luca said obviously.
Okay.
Tell me why. Luca goes and kisses Samie. And then he goes back to sit down. He's asking her if she's okay. She says, you said you wouldn't kiss her, but you did. And he's just like, but are you okay? And she's just like, just shut the F up.
Literally, she said shut the F up. Mm-hmm.
Harriet kisses the 3 Islanders, I believe, that she's into, which was Luca, Casey, and Ronnie. Mm-hmm. Samie gets kiss the cheeks of the couple that you think are the least compatible. She chooses Harriet and Ronnie because they tried it before and it didn't work out.
That's facts. Hey, I said the same thing on the show. I think I like Samie. I think y'all steering me wrong of who to like and who not to like.
I'm still holding out judgment.
Because last time y'all told me not to like Scott, and y'all keep telling me how much Scott is a child and he needs therapy. And I'm like, I like Scott. Mm-hmm. And then y'all telling me not to like Samie because she's worse than Elma. And I'm like, okay, we all can agree Elma is bad. But I like Samie so far.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Ekin gets kiss the 2 Islanders you'd love to have a threesome with. Mm-hmm. She chooses Curtis and Danielle. And y'all, through the half end of the game, Luca and Grace were kind of whispering back and forth. Grace kept telling him to shut up. And Luca was trying to get the game to wrap up pretty quickly. He ends up just walking away. And that's the end of the game. And the end of the episode.
Listen here, Luca was having that silent argument that was loud. What is your thoughts on where Grace and Luca is going to end up and just overall?
I think Grace is really going to get turned off by the way that he's handling the situation. Like, he is handling it like a young boy. If he wants to get to know the girl, I think Grace, of course, wouldn't be into that. But if he can just let her know, I think she would allow the situation to progress the way that it does. Yeah. Grace seems pretty level-headed for the most part. And for him to be acting and going about it the way that he is, I think it's going to make her look at him like a child.
Yeah, I think Luca overreacted. Do I think... Okay, let me ask another question, and then that's when I get my thoughts. And yes or no. Even though he agreed that he shouldn't have kissed Samie in the game, should he have still been honest, or he shouldn't have kissed her?
I don't think he should have kissed Samie. I honestly felt, I was thinking to myself, why did he kiss Tina? Because he went on a date with Tina and he seemed to be attracted to her on the date. So it is somewhat of a cop out, but you were attracted to Tina. So I felt like that would have been a good, safe choice.
Oh, he was attracted to Tina?
Remember when Tina came in, she chose 3 people to go on the date and Luca was one of the guys. It was Luca, Naz, and Scott.
Scott, it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I would not agree.
And
okay, go
ahead. He kissed Tina in front of everybody. Remember, in the middle of the villa.
He did.
Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he was. He did. You're right.
Yes.
When he did it in front of everybody, that's what Casey and Ronnie was laughing, talking about. Go ahead, big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, never agree to no type of like, oh no, I'm not gonna kiss her. Like, no, we're not closed off.
Okay.
We're not closed off.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same way as you're focused and things of that nature for like your like my eyes is on you and your eyes is on me. We're not closed off. I wouldn't even agree that I wasn't gonna kiss Samie. But if they would have asked me who else besides my partner, I think I probably would have kissed Samie. If I'm really into her.
Yeah.
If I'm really into somebody, I'm kissing them.
Yeah.
Right? Because the question is besides my partner.
Then, like you said, he shouldn't have agreed not to do it.
He shouldn't have agreed not to do it. That's what he messed up at, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're not even arguing about the kiss so much of you not being a man of your word, and that looks worse to me.
Yes.
Than actually you kissing. Because if you was just to be like, oh no, I'm not agreeing to that, and then she's mad about the kiss, I'd be like, well, I didn't lie.
And I think that's what got Grace cussing at him, because you're not a man of your word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's only one type of people who's not a man of their word. That's boys.
Because they're not men.
Get the boys off the island. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see y'all.
Bye.